Patrick Clancy and his mama Susan Clancy got them crazy looking eyes together. And I'm going to just go ahead and say it because I know y'all always thinking it. It's also very interesting to me that Patrick's mother, Susan Clancy, was actually a witness for the defense. And she was there to defend Lindsey. I think it's very important to note and highlight that the prosecution was working very hard to kind of turn Susan against Lindsey, in that they were highlighting all the ways that Lindsey might have said that they didn't have a good relationship, or they didn't get along, or there was some rift in their relationship, or even that she didn't even feel comfortable leaving the kids with them, or whatever else she might have said. I think a lot of what took place there is Susan Clancy just had the heart of a mother. And she understands how complicated it is to have a baby and to be thrown back into the world, have to care for that baby, and have to understand how to navigate every other part of life. I also think she sympathizes and empathizes with Lindsey on a different level, because Lindsey was pursuing help, but in a lot of ways that help was refused. And I think if this case doesn't do anything else, it should highlight the lack of support for women when they're going through one of their most vulnerable seasons of life. It should also encourage, motivate, and inspire everyone that is in the presence of a woman that just had a baby and navigating that new space to show up for her in a different way, to be attentive to her needs in a different way, and to also understand that she might just simply be performing. Now, as for me and my postpartum experience, in general, I was fine. I do feel like it was overwhelming. I do feel like it was a major adjustment. All of those things are true. But some people are not able to deal with being overwhelmed or deal with the adjustment probably as smoothly as I was able to. And so this case, it tugs at my heartstrings because I understand how hard it is. And in a lot of ways, it sounds like she might have been experiencing life as a single mom at certain points, because there is some point where they're saying she ended up calling a welfare check because she could see that the husband was letting the baby cry and wasn't doing anything about it. That man been cheating on her since before she kind of spiraled out of control in the beginning of December, when she started to ask for all that help. So how do we know that? This is the thing that I will say. Why are we not giving a lot of attention to him having an affair while they're married, and how that either played into or did not play into this entire experience? Why are we not discussing the nature of their relationship at this time? I feel like we're putting a lot of attention into her mental state, and that's it. Or we're putting a lot of attention into, did other people get to watch her? What was it like before? And just moving along. But I think there are contributing factors here that we're not understanding. This lady's husband was actively cheating on her, and I think she knew. Now, there is this other speculation out there that, is it possible that Patrick could have been messing with the oldest little girl, Cora, inappropriately? Sexual abuse of some sort. And it has a lot to do with them saying that Cora had a doctor's appointment earlier that day and Patrick didn't know anything about it. And there were issues with Cora being able to use the bathroom. Her teacher also mentioned it. They talked to the pediatrician, but the pediatrician pretty much said there weren't any signs of abuse. So I guess that's why we're not acknowledging that. But I wonder if it's one of those scenarios where maybe it wasn't anything that would be visible in an exam. You could take advantage of children in a lot of ways and there not be any damage to their organs or body, but you've already mentally abused them in ways that probably could never be explained. And so it makes me question, did Cora try to articulate that, or did the doctor make some kind of suggestion around how Cora could have been experiencing these things? Did Lindsey then figure that out, confront Patrick, and then this turned into a spiral? I just think, again, I'm going to continue to say this. The miss in this entire investigation and trial is there is no way that you pull up to a house with a wife injured and children injured and a hysterical husband, and we still don't consider him as a prime suspect. Most often, when something happens and there's no forced entry to the home, there doesn't look like there was any kind of struggle or anything like that. Why wouldn't we assume that he might have had something to do with it, even though he said he was all these places? The first order of business is pull his phone forensics. We'll be able to know what time he left his house. What time did his phone connect to his car? Track that watch. Well, I take that back because the watch went blank for a certain period of time. So I guess for me, let's look at the GPS tracking on that watch, if that exists. Are we able to confirm what it was pinging to or was not? Did it disconnect from her phone at any point? And if it did disconnect from her phone, what time did that happen? Again, what time did he get to CVS? Does CVS have cameras in the parking lot? What's happening in the parking lot? Do they have flock cameras or do they have anything else? Let's make sure we're tracking where he actually went. Can we see if he actually changed them shoes? Because people saying he had on boots and then he had on some Peloton shoes and then he had on something else. On top of that, those boots that belonged to Lindsey were sitting on splattered BLOOD. That wouldn't be logical. And why would she bring her snowshoes all the way upstairs and track them everywhere? There are intricate details here that just give speculation. And I think like one of the cases that made this kind of obvious was the Murdaugh trials. A lot of that kind of evidence that was in the home was used against him. And I think that's how they found him to be guilty. So you telling me that in the same instance, Patrick just becomes an innocent bystander. But they say that, you know, he's connected to people in the police force. So maybe that's why they approached it that way. But it's kind of weird to me.